Wrestling, Brad Gilmore, Matt Topolsky here in your living room for another edition of The Row. And tonight, a very special edition of Reality of Wrestling because the Reality of Wrestling Championship is up for grabs. So is the Hurricane Pro title as well. So is the Wildcat Sports title.
Yes.
Title for title here tonight between Bryan Keith and Ryan Davidson.
I mean, it's incredible. And the energy in the World Gym Arena tonight is off the charts because we're going to see one man walk away with 3 championship belts around his waist and over both shoulders in our main event. Bryan Keith, who's already defeated Ryan Davidson not once but twice. Ryan Davidson feels like he has just cause to get another championship opportunity at Bryan Keith. We're going to see if the Bear can recapture that Row Championship here this evening.
But to start the action this week on The Row, we know the story of Brenden Steen, and he had an incredible 2018. He was named a Row Award winner. 2019, equally as good for him. What will the new year bring in store? Well, it's going to start with a Mack truck named Mantell coming off that Texas Championship loss. You know he's going to be chomping at the bit to get back into that ring and lay some chops into Brenden Steen.
Look, man, you don't want to piss off someone like Mantell. And after that loss to Max Humberto, Mantell is pissed off, and he's going to take his frustrations out, I think, unfortunately, on the professional.
Well, it's all 100 proof coming up next against Brenden Steen.
Introducing first, from Jersey City, New Jersey, weighing in at 200 pounds, Brenden Steen!
Well, Brenden Steen looks like he's in a good mood.
Well, he's always in a good mood, Matt Topolsky. He's a professional. He's looking to double up on those Row awards.
And his opponent, from San Marcos, Texas, he is the son of Texas, Mantell!
I have a feeling, however, that Brenden Steen's attitude might change momentarily. The former Texas champion has bad intentions on his mind. Mantell has entered the World Gym Arena.
Definitely a man, when you talk about stars of a particular year, can you think of somebody who was more dominant in 2019 than Mantell? After winning that Texas championship from ruthless Ryan Davidson, he went on the run of a lifetime and almost walked into this decade with that same championship.
Mantell, the very definition of intensity. Brenden Steen looks to continue his winning streak into a new year. And Mantell looks to get the bad taste out of his mouth from that loss at Christmas Chaos. These two bulls locking horns early.
Shoulder to the professional Brenden Steen.
Be careful what you wish for.
Oh, good God! God! In heaven above.
Not again, not again.
Oh.
God! More chops than a Texas butcher shop. Brenden Steen gets out of there. And Mantell looking for a bicycle kick. Reversal. Waistlock from behind here from Mantell. Rarely does Brenden Steen find himself standing across the ring from a competitor that has a strength advantage. I think we can chalk that one up to Mantell.
Absolutely. And you know, a win here against a former Texas champion, former television champion in Brenden Steen could put Mantell back in contention here at the Reality Wrestling.
Look out. Oh! And perhaps if Brenden Steen was focused on Mantell and not on the commentators here at ringside, he would find himself in this position right now. Mantell
came around the corner, Matt, like a tank. I was hoping that he'd take out the Row reporter with him, but now, oh, good.
Wow.
Gosh.
Did anyone order ribs?
Or medium rare steak.
Oh, God, and Mantell put some barbecue sauce on it. I will tell you one thing, Brenden Steen is going to need an x-ray on his sternum when this matchup is over, courtesy of the former Texas champion. What's he doing, Brad? Asking for a truce?
I think that he is. And I don't think Mantell is too keen on granting that request. Now what is Brenden Steen trying to do there? Brenden Steen was grabbing for, look, he messed up his knee pad, and look at that! Wow! That is why he's the professional Matt Topolsky, a cerebral competitor for sure. You got to give that. What a great strategy there by Brenden Steen.
Well, one might argue that he broke the rules there, but I know that won't bother you. Brenden Steen now going to work on that left shoulder and arm here. A one-armed Mantell being handicapped in this matchup here against Brenden Steen really changed the odds.
Of course, Brenden Steen quoting the rules to Mantell and the rest of the crowd. From the former Texas champion, Mantell. And what a hoss he is,
Mantell, look at this. You want to talk about a hoss. In that corner here again, Brenden Steen up to that second rope, looking for a classic double axe handle. If anyone can break the axe handle, it's Mantell.
Oh, look at that, though. That could have gotten Brenden Steen back in this match.
Looking to roll over Mantell. Pin attempt here from Brenden Steen. Oh, wow, that is a near fall.
Wow. I even think the referee could believe how close that came to a 3 count. Incredible. Brenden Steen has found a way back into this contest. Mocking the former champion.
Brenden Steen has had a few opportunities in this matchup to try and close the door on Mantell. Perhaps he'll finally take one here. Double arm DDT.
Oh, man, Matt, there it comes again. So close to taking down Mantell.
You know, Brad, momentum in professional wrestling is a funny thing. Mantell experienced the momentum of successful title defenses for several months straight. But could this be the beginning of a losing streak for him here tonight?
Well, I'll tell you what, if Brenden Steen hits this headbutt, oh, and a swing and a miss.
For it. 100 proof Alabama slam across the state Mantell, your winner this week on the row. The bad taste of his Christmas chaos loss is gone. Courtesy of a glass of that 100 proof. Your winner, Mantell.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Nancy Perez, and I'm here backstage with your Reality of Wrestling champion, Bryan Keith. Bryan, in tonight's main event, you face Ryan Davidson. 3 championships on the line. Winner take all.
In 2019, I captured the Reality of Wrestling Championship and made my dreams a reality. Now in 2020, I plan to defend this championship and show everyone God's plan that he has just for me. And as soon as I start looking towards the horizon, thinking everything's fine, here come the devil, knocking on my door one more time. Ryan Davidson, you know how to get to me, man. You know that my weakness is the glory. My weakness is the opportunity to take it all away from you. And while Triple Crown champion Bryan Keith sounds phenomenal, you and I both know, Ryan, it's much deeper than this. It's about putting a nail in the coffin and putting an end to it all. Well, Ryan, if you're going to risk it all, I pray you come correct, because it just might be your last shot. Cowboy up.
I told you I could do this all damn day. Woo! I beat Clay Roberts.
Yeah, that's right.
Tommy Bolton. Hey, that 5-way scramble, I didn't get pinned, so it doesn't count. It doesn't count. Yes, it was right. But guess what? I just beat so-called Reality of Wrestling's main event, William, all damn day. So let's go celebrate that. Yeah, baby. Hey, baby, undefeated still.
Where the drinks at?
Hey,
Let me see some ID.
What? Sorry. Let's go.
The time for a proper legion to wreak havoc upon the reality of wrestling is drawing near.
Never waste time trying to explain yourself to people who are dedicated to misunderstanding you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Nancy Perez, and I'm here backstage with Will all day. Now, Will, your feud with television champion Q is getting pretty serious. Last time we saw you in the ring, Q interfered, cost you your victory. What are you going to do about it?
Nancy, can I take this?
Sure.
Thanks. Q, you just don't seem to go away, do you? For such a bad man, you sure are worried about little old me. Q, it's been two times that you come from behind, 2 times that you interfere, 2 times that you have no business being there, but I see your ugly mug and you're there. Q, I'm about to be gone. I'm about to go overseas. I'm about to do what you haven't done in 15 years in your whole career. And when I come back, best believe I'm coming for my title and I'm coming for your ass.
Up next, it's our main event with the Reality of Wrestling Championship hanging in the balance and some additional bounties as well. Bryan Keith faces the Bear, ruthless Ryan Davidson, in one of the highest stake main events in Row history. We take it up to the ring for the main event. A main event befitting of Fort Knox. All the gold is up for grabs next. No, this is not the Federal Reserve. This is the World Gym Arena. But tonight, not one, not two, but three major championships, notwithstanding the biggest in reality of wrestling, all up for grabs next. And here comes the Hurricane Pro and Wildcat Sports heavyweight champion, the Bear, ruthless Ryan Davidson.
That's a Polsky when you talk about all the glory. The man who wins this match tonight, I mean, he's going to have more championships than he knows what to do with. And one would have to assume that the championships would be unified into one title.
Introducing first, to my left, fighting out of Bel Air, Texas, weighing in at 265 pounds, he is the Hurricane Pro Heavyweight Champion, the Wildcat Sports Heavyweight Champion, and the first ever Reality of Wrestling Grand Slam Champion, Ruthless Ryan Davidson! From Greens Point, Texas, weighing in at 200 pounds, he is the Cruiserweight Cowboy and your Reality of Wrestling Champion, Bryan Keith.
Well, here we go, Matt Topolsky. The biggest main event already here at Reality of Wrestling in the new year. Last chance, your prediction.
Ryan Davidson, a Grand Slam champion. Ryan Davidson, currently the holder of two of the biggest titles in the Southeast. And Bryan Keith, the Reality of Wrestling champion. All the momentum on his side, but Brad Gilmore, as much as I love Bryan Keith, I have to say that Ryan Davidson here tonight may finally exorcise the demons, his kryptonite, which is Bryan Keith. We will find out as the main event begins. The Reality of Wrestling Championship up for grabs. The Wildcat Sports Championship up for grabs. The Hurricane Pro Heavyweight title up for grabs. You can only see it one place, the blue label of professional wrestling, and our main event with all the gold at stake.
Here's the thing, Matt Topolsky. The first time Bryan Keith beat Ruthless Ryan Davidson, it was kind of a lot of people were just shocked by it. Ryan Davidson didn't have adequate time to prepare for that matchup, but he took it on short notice, and Bryan Keith got the better of it. That's something you can live with. But I think when you look at that steel cage match, Bryan Keith, as much as you love him here as the Reality Wrestling Champion, he did not straight up beat Ruthless Ryan Davidson. Sure, within the confines of a steel cage match, the rule structure, he escaped the cage, both feet hit the floor. He didn't pin him. He didn't make him submit. And you know that Ryan Davidson still thinks that he can best the Cowboy. That's why he's put both of his new championships
I think
on
there's
the
no
line.
question about it. That's why everything that he has earned over the past month is now currently up for grabs. Otherwise, he would have never done it if he didn't believe that he couldn't make it happen. But you know it's got to be seething in the back of his mind. It's got to be planted back there like a virus, this idea that he cannot defeat Bryan Keith. In 3 of the biggest matches of his career, one-on-one with Bryan Keith, Ryan Davidson drew a giant L.
You're right.
If it happens for the 4th time, Ryan Davidson not only will have that egg on his face, but he'll walk out of here with nothing to show for it.
Oh, man!
Oh, my goodness! And a series of chops, both from champion and challenger, that says, in this bar, we pour whiskey. Shot downstairs from the champion. Looking for a rodeo DDT early. Ryan Davidson takes a shot to the dome right there from Bryan Keith. Roll up, 1, 2, kick out. You can only imagine, Brad Gilmore, the headlines that these two are writing in both of their respective heads. If they win this matchup here tonight, one could argue this is the highest stakes we have ever seen in a Reality of Wrestling bout.
I really can't think, well, there's been no time in Reality of Wrestling history where there have been 3 different championships from 3 different companies on the line, one of them being the biggest prize in all of Texas, the Reality of Wrestling Championship. And I really don't know who has more to lose. Sure, Ryan Davidson has 2 championships, but Bryan Keith, if he were to lose here and walk away in his first match of the brand new decade here at the Row, without that Reality Wrestling Championship, you got to think that would just sink him, like a rock. And look at that.
Telegraphed elbow and forearm meeting the cranium of the Reality of Wrestling champion, Bryan Keith. Worse for wear here at the moment.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wow. Big suplex there by Ryan Davidson.
Pin attempt here, 1, 2, and a kick out.
Oh, look at that. He's just grabbing back at the nose of Bryan Keith. You saw Ryan Davidson signaling that he utilized every second that he had of that 5 count.
Brad, talk about the evolution that we've seen over the past few years of Ryan Davidson as an athlete and what he has become, one of the best professional wrestlers in the world.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt he is one of the top competitors in all of professional wrestling in each and every continent. And what you got to think about Ryan Davidson is a few years ago, Ryan Davidson seemed to be a little bit lost. He had not held championship gold in Reality Wrestling in quite some time, actually since losing to the Bryan Keith back in 2015. Then he goes under the expert tutelage of Stevie Ray. He becomes a 2-time tag team champion. Then he turns that into a Texas championship gold, and then eventually capturing the Reality of Wrestling championship. He is the first ever Grand Slam competitor. He traveled over to Japan, ran roughshod over everybody in the Far East, and he's come back slim, trim, and focused. He has become a 5-tool player in wrestling, if there is one.
Drop kick from the top from the Reality of Wrestling champion. What a momentum killer that was to Ryan Davidson, but it's not enough to keep him down. Oh, and a shot to the dome. The fastest kicks in the South, sharper than a Japanese steak knife.
And you got to think about it, Matt. Bryan Keith loves to fly, and Ryan Davidson being on the outside gives him that opportunity to get some real air. Hold on, who the hell is that? Is that one of the renegades of wrestling?
Oh, here they come! Here they come! Absolutely ridiculous! Enough is enough already! We have seen quite enough of this garbage!
Well, remember, in Ryan Davidson and Bryan Keith's first encounter, Ryan Davidson tried to get out of that match by enlisting the help of the Renegades of Wrestling.
Oh, wait a second! Here comes Zach Mason! And he's gonna get himself some of the Renegades right now!
The man who won the Rise to Wrestling royalty is beating up on the Renegades, but he's still outnumbered.
Here comes Warren Johnson!
The other half of Fly Death. They haven't had the greatest relationship as of late, but it looks like they found a unifying cause.
Ryan Davidson earlier here tonight referred to himself as a ring general. Well, now I know what he means. Having all of his pawns come out here and do his dirty work for him.
Ryan Davidson grabbing his 2 championships as Zach and Warren Fly Death, the former tag champs, clear house and come to the aid of Bryan Keith. Oh, wait a minute, Matt. Wait a minute. Some trash talk here.
How y'all doing? Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Hold up, baby. Hold up. Hold up. Fly Deaf in the house, y'all. Fly Deaf in the house. Fastest kicks in the South. Bryan Keith. Hey, hold up. Hold up. Hold up. We gonna do this right. I know everybody in it. Y'all still want to see one more fight. Y'all got one more fight in you. Now I tell you what, guys, we ain't gonna do it right now because I got some business to take care of. But next month, guys, right here, Reality of Wrestling, Fly Deaf, Bryan Keith versus Ryan Davidson and 2 members of the Renegades of his choosing. Right here, guys, next month. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? It's going. Get your tickets right now, guys, because it's going down next month.
It is going to explode.